Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Earth Tremor.
I don't know
Nice.
if you got any of the camera shake. I tried. I shook my desk.
There's nothing wrong with your computer, folks at home.
All right, Earth Tremor is a first level evocation spell. Takes an action to cast. Range of self, 10-foot radius. So this is 10-foot radius around you. Burrow somatic components, instantaneous. You cause a tremor in the ground in a 10-foot area. Each creature other than you in that area makes a dex save. On a failed save, they take a d6 and fall prone. The ground is loose earth or stone. It's difficult terrain until cleared. When you cast a spell using higher level slots, it goes up by d6. Don't cast a spell with upper level spell slots. Earth Tremor is a bard, druid, sorcerer, wizard spell. I have played with this spell. I have desperately wanted this spell to be good. I have tried and tried and tried to play the frontline wizards, to play, druids that aren't going into wild shape, that are using combat focus. I've done this on swords bards. Not once have I cast Earth Tremor and gone, thank God. Not once have I cast Earth Tremor and been excited about it.
This seems like a really difficult spell to use well.
Yeah.
It's that 10-foot range is a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, like, hypothetically, it's 9 squares around you, right? You and, every square in a 10-foot radius. So it ends up being like a 20-foot diameter, decent size space. The issue is just like a d6 bludgeoning damage is not a whole lot. And
well, no, I mean, it's in a first level area of effect spell. That's something. If you find yourself really deep in the thick of things, but you got to really want that prone condition.
Yeah,
and I mean, you can't pick and choose who gets prone. So if you are just in a swarm of enemies by yourself, make better life decisions, I guess. But yeah, this could be useful. But if your friends are there too, you're gonna knock half of them prone.
Yeah, and that's as useful for your enemies as it is for you, right? Because this will come down a lot to turn order, where if you go and then the monsters around you go and then your buddies go, this has no text because you can knock them prone, they stand back up, you've done a d6 damage for a first level spell slot. That's not worth it. If you go and then your party members show up and start kicking the crap out of them on the ground, yeah, sure, that's neat. Is it better than doing more damage? Probably not. Like, Word of Radiance is a cantrip that does a d6 damage to everything within 5 feet of you. As a cantrip. And it's just does the same damage for the most part in a very similar area. I don't get excited about casting this as a first level spell ever. And like I've really tried. I like the fantasy of the Earth Sorcerers. I like Dwarven Ravager is my jam. I like taking a big old Warhammer, putting down an Arcane Ward, and just sitting around with a bunch of temp HP, smashing hammers, and casting reaction spells. That's what I like. I like that fantasy. Earth Tremor, hypothetically, is like the dwarfiest dwarfs. We mine, dig underground, finding gold and all that good stuff. Earth Tremor fits in that, earthy fantasy. And it's just every time I've ever cast it, I've been like, this spell's so bad. Two things of the 4 got knocked prone, and that's like the best case scenario. I think I've never hit more than 4 creatures with this, and that's happened once. And every other time it's 2 or less, and it's just like, this is.
Now you have played with this. It disappointed you. What were you kind of expecting going in with it?
I was expecting to get disappointed, to be perfectly honest. I was looked at this and I was like, this has to be bad, but I'm gonna try it. Maybe I'm wrong. This fantasy seems like it'd be satisfying. My objective very cleanly and easily was like, I'm playing a melee wizard. This puts things prone and pairs well. I had the 2 times I've done it, I've had a paladin in the party, a fighter at the party, and a monk. And there's a fighter and monk group. I think used the prone condition like twice of all of the 5 or 6 times I cast the spell, where they were able to go and get advantage on attack rolls or more likely the attack roll, because you don't cast this past 3rd level for the most part. So like they were able to get like advantage on an attack roll or 2. And that was pretty useful. Every other time it was just like they passed, or they were in such a way in initiative order the pro didn't matter. And if that is ever the case, the spell is trash. The loose earth or difficult terrain loose earth or stone becoming difficult terrain hurt me more than it helped me, because as a dwarf, my speed's 25, and it costing 20 feet of movement to get out of the space that I wanted to be in is not where you want to be on a character that's supposed to be frontlining like this. It was just clunky and not useful. It often felt like I was hampering myself and hamstringing myself for no good reason. And if this spell like actually hurts you more than it helps you, I don't know when you want to cast this ever.
That's what I was thinking. I was trying to think, what do I do with this spell? This is for a situation when I got in over my head. I'm surrounded by enemies. I just want to knock a few of them prone so I can get out of here. But then I've just surrounded myself with difficult terrain.
No. You spent your action creating difficult terrain that lets you barely leave this and have any speed to get out of it further. Like, yikes.
Oh,
This is a mistake of a spell. I think even if they bump the damage to 2d6, I'm like, no, you still don't take this. This is really hard to use. This is really... So, like, there's a spell that we talked about, it was Magnify Gravity, where you get a similar kind of effect, where you slow down a bunch of people in a big area and you hit them from with 2d6 damage. That spell feels a lot better to use in the condition of slowing things down. It plays well together. It is the area of effect damaging slow thing that you can be beneficial. Whenever it has to center on you, and whenever it does less damage, this is just like a near strict downgrade as far as usability goes, basically across the board. If you're going to have area of effect spells around you, they have to be really, really efficient. This spell's range is a giant problem for it, and it's like, if it's going to be designed for melee wizards, you have to give, like, they need to be immune to the difficult terrain or something. This has to be selective to let your ally, like, let it be used alongside your frontline allies, so you can sit behind them, knock the stuff in front of them prone, and then get the attack advantage, or advantage on attack rolls immediately. Like, let us coordinate a little bit better. Because where it is, God, is it not it? Like, even, like, imagine the situation, right, where they're on the opposite side of the difficult terrain for you, like, your fighter behind you, and you hit something that is 10 feet on the, like, to the across from them. The fighter has to move to you through your difficult terrain and might not be able to get within the 5 feet of it because you create difficult terrain in the first place sometimes. That makes the prone condition worthless.
yeah. I mean, and let's not forget the prone condition will grant your allies advantage on melee attacks.
Yeah.
But doesn't it grant disadvantage on
Range.
ranged attacks? That's also worth considering.
Yeah. In the group that I had the paladin, I had a rogue in my group too, and there was more than one occasion where I was like, oh shit, I just turned off the rogue sneak attack. Or given the disadvantage, which may not be no longer advantage from attacking from hidden. That was like, oh yeah, whoops, my bad. Earth Tremor is not.
I don't know, man. This is a hard one to justify.
Yeah.
Ever casting.
I was the dwarfiest dwarf wizard of all time. If that character can't get mileage out of this, I don't think anyone can. This is a 1 out of 5. This spell is terrible. I don't know what they were thinking. This spell's awful.
Yeah, I want to give it a 2. I'm hoping commenters are going to tell me. I mean, I don't think we're missing anything with this one. I don't know, but yeah, I can't justify it 2.
Let's look at the best case scenario. Okay, the best case scenario is you knock something prone, you do the damage to it, you walk away from it, it still gets the attack of opportunity against you, but let's say it misses. Then it has to use all of its movement to get up, and then has to move 15 feet through difficult terrain so it can't exit it, and hypothetically, you've taken a disengage action. And, like, that isn't a good floor. Like, that's the best case scenario, is it uses 15 feet of its movement to get up, and then it can barely get to the edge of the difficult terrain you created. That's assuming you're in a light, loose dirt or stone environment, and that's what you wanted to have happen. That's the best case. I don't see it.
Yeah, I can't justify giving this any more than a 1. This one's garbage.
Yeah, this is really terrible.
All right. Well, that was Earth Tremor. Sorry, Earth Tremor. Do better. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.